Chapter 17, Wednesday, July 19, 0:30 hours. Night was the worst. The darkness closed in like an endless canopy of absolute blackness. With no moon, Lou couldn't even see Carla a few inches away. Ian, what time is it? Came Will's voice from the void. It's 12:30, Luke said irritably. We just checked 2 minutes ago. I don't really care about the time. I just want to see the light. He was talking about the tiny light on Ian's watch. Every time I fall asleep, I dream that I've gone blind. I need to see something. Try looking at the stars, suggested Ian from the water beside the raft. I can't sleep on my back. Luke was growing impatient. You might have noticed this isn't the Hilton. Make do. As Will struggled to roll over, he kneed Carla in the thigh. Reacting in shock, she elbowed Luke in the ribs, and as he jackknifed in pain, the edge of the raft dipped, dunking Ian under water. The tiniest move had a ripple effect through the whole group. It was that close and uncomfortable. Sputtering, Ian checked his watch. 12:33, he reported. Do it again, I missed it, said Will. Although the temperature never dropped below 70 degrees, the night felt almost bone-chilling after the burning heat of the day. Taking turns in shark bait position kept the castaways soaked to the skin, and the 6-hour shifts out of the water did little to dry them. The seas had picked up, and even the smallest waves washed over the cabin top. They had tried again to find an arrangement where all four of them could sit on the raft at the same time, but after repeated dunkings and one real scare, the raft had almost bobbed away. They had decided that 3 riders and 1 shark bait was the only way to go. Secretly, Luke didn't mind his shifts in the water, especially at night. While the air cooled down, the ocean stayed warm. It also provided protection from the wind. In fact, the only problem with shark bait position was exactly what the name implied: sharks. Dangling there, you were a sitting duck for any sea creature that wanted to take a bite. They had seen fins cutting the surface around the raft, but Ian insisted they were dolphins. A shark fin is larger and more triangular, with a small slot near the bottom. The kid was an endless fountain of information that nobody wanted to hear. Carcharodon cacacaurus, the great white shark, could destroy this raft in a single bite. A really big specimen can swallow a person whole. Let me guess, said Will. They did sharks on National Geographic Explorer. Don't knock it, mumbled Luke. Those guys make one heck of a watch. I'm more afraid of the tiger shark, Ian went on seriously. They're pack hunters, and they can go into what's called a feeding frenzy. Enough, interrupted Carla, who was in shark bait position at the time. I don't want to hear another word about it until you're hanging down here like a worm on a hook. With the heat of the second day came thirst. Thirst beyond anything they had experienced before in their lives. It was a familiar feeling at first, like the desire to hit the water fountain after a long, boring class on a steamy June afternoon. But then it transformed into something deeper and stronger. There was no water fountain. There never would be. Throats burned, lips cracked and bled. Carla held the empty rubber hat. Did that show about shipwrecks mention what to do if it doesn't rain? She asked Ian. It'll rain, the boy promised. The other 3 noticed, though, that this was one statement with no backup research from television. There was hunger, too. They hadn't eaten for a full 48 hours. The hunger mingled with the thirst to produce a never-ending, dull ache that gripped each survivor from head to toe. It was a pain that radiated lack. Lack of water, lack of food, lack of sleep, lack of comfort. As the afternoon progressed, a few clouds appeared overhead. The castaways cheered them on as if the Super Bowl were being played out in the sky above them. A cool wind picked up, creating a chop on top of the water. All right, Rain, croaked Will. Let's see what you've got. We should trap water in the sail and drink it as it runs over the sides, Ian lectured. Get as much as you can while it's still raining, because the hat won't hold a lot. Luke had his hands out, palms up, waiting for the downpour. It didn't come, or at least not to them. They could see it raining a quarter of a mile ahead of them, but they didn't get a single drop. There was genuine agony on the cabin top when the overcast thinned out and sun broke through once again. Not fair, Will moaned, addressing the clouds. Come back! Come back! Where's our rain? That night, Luke hung over the side, drifting in and out of an uneasy world of half dreams. He never really slept in shark bait position for fear of slipping off the raft and being lost forever. Suddenly he heard a strange gurgling noise. It sounded like drinking? Will had edged his way forward and was now lying with his head over the side, swallowing greedily. Aghast, Luke grabbed him by the collar and pulled his face out of the water. Don't do that, Will! It's suicide! It was so dark that all Luke could see were Will's eyes. They seemed dazed, glassy, and feverish. It's water, man. Who cares if there's salt in it? Luke shook him angrily. That salt dehydrates you worse than going thirsty. You might have just cut a whole day off the time you can hold out. Maybe more. Nah, it's okay, Will insisted urgently. Listen, I figured out why we never found Lissa and JJ. They've been rescued already. Doesn't make sense, Will, Luke argued. How could rescuers spot them and miss us? JJ was was right all along, he explained. The captain and Radford are watching us. The others were in trouble, so they moved in and saved them. They haven't saved us yet because we're doing okay. Okay, Luke repeated. You call this okay? We're starving, dying of thirst. One of us has to hang in the water or we all drown. Think! A shark could bite me in two this minute, and the rescue boat wouldn't get here in time to save 3.5 people. There is no bigger trouble than what we're in right now. If there was rescuers out there, they'd be rescuing us. Will looked at him pityingly. Take it easy, Luke. Everything's under control. Don't panic. Luke stared back at him in growing horror. The kid was totally serious. There was only one explanation for this. Hunger, thirst, grief, and fear were causing Will Greenfield to lose his grip on reality. How long would it be before the same thing happened to the rest of them?